Good evening and welcome to tonight's edition of Hope TV Newswatch. Hope you had a wonderful day today. My name is Melissa Oduor. On the sign language interpretation is Boniface Morethi, and Newswatch begins now. Azimio la Umoja leaders have criticized the suspension of the 4 embattled IEBC commissioners days after 2 of them resigned from office. Speaking at the Kamkunji grounds during their planned consultative meeting, the leaders called for public participation on matters of national concerns, including the importation of GMO maize and closure of restaurants. Our reporter Linda Kawira attended the Kamkunji rally and filed the following report.
Residents came out in their numbers under heavy police presence in response to calls by Azimio la Umoja leader Raila Odinga for the planned public consultative meeting. Addressing the residents, Raila criticized the Kenya Kwanza government for the removal of subsidies on various essential products in the country. The former Prime Minister also castigated the high cost of living, the hike in fuel prices, and the abolishment of the Kazi Mtaani Youth Employment Initiative, which gave many youths in the country an economic lifeline. Raila also threw salvos at the Kenya Kwanza government for the suspension of the 4 IEBC commissioners, stating that the judiciary has over time become a captive of the executive.
Ruto mpaka zuiliwe kuteua tume ingine ya uchaguzi ambayo ni yake ni kama kagosi yake. Kama amefanya na hiyo kutakuwa kuna uchaguzi katika taifa letu. Umeelewana vizuri? Ndio vizuri. Sasa ni maneno ambayo tutaangalia mwaka ikianza.
Kama ya Wafula Chebukati itaisha Januari, anatakiwa awe leave. Kutoka Novemba angeenda leave. Amekataa kwenda leave sababu wako na jama ya uchaguzi mdogo. Tunauliza wanabungoma na sehemu zingine za Kenya wawe macho, Chebukati na Ruto wako na mpango.
Speaking at the meeting, NARC Kenya party leader Martha Karua called for the public participation of Kenyans on various important matters of national interest. Karua has also called for public participation on the importation of GMO and asked for the bill to be tabled and discussed in Parliament for approval. She has also hit out on the appointment of cabinet secretaries and principal secretaries, citing the lack of ethnic balance. Karua says the importation of genetically modified organisms will enslave Kenyan farmers, making them dependent on specific companies for seeds.
Waziri wale wamechaguliwa, tabia zao, historia yao ukiangalia hawafai kikatiba. Hii ni serikali haifuati katiba, haifuati sheria, ni serikali ya kimababu. Ukiangalia wale wameteuliwa, walio wengi ni kabila mbili. Kenya ni ya kabila 45. Katiba inasema weka watu kutoka kila sehemu. Hii serikali ni utawala wa kimambavu na sio utawala wa kikatiba au wa sheria.
Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka on his part addressed the closure of churches and restaurants in Nairobi in a bid to contain noise pollution. He urged Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja to reconsider the closure of restaurants that provide employment to several Kenyans in the country and called for public consultation before the closure of the establishments.
Wanafanya environmental pollution. Tunasema kwa niaba ya makanisa, and I know it is the same wakati wa maombi Shengao, I'm sure kutatoka mwito fulani kutoka kwa mizikiti. Kwa hivyo rafiki yako Gavana Sakaja, enda pole pole.
For Hope TV Newswatch, I am Kawira Linda.
Came out in their numbers at the historic Kamkunji grounds in Nairobi County to attend the first ever public consultative meeting by the opposition since the new government took over power. At the meeting led by Azimio la Umoja and Kenya Coalition Party leader Raila Odinga saw Kenyans from all walks of life turn out to give their views on matters of national interest. Now, our reporter Pendo Karima filed the following report.
The Azimio la Umoja public consultative meeting at the historic Kamukunji grounds evoked various issues, including alleged lack of empathy by the Kenya Kwanza government and the removal of subsidies in the education sector to caution parents from the high school fees in secondary and primary schools. The people also called for the restoration of the funds issued to the elderly and for the restoration of the rule of law in the country.
We are witnessing a lack of empathy, a coldness, and arrogance that are at odds with the times. Consequently, there is need for the Ruto regime to be put under intense scrutiny and pressure by Kenyans and be forced to return to the people's agenda.
Following the declaration by the Azimio la Umoja party earlier this week on Jamhuri celebrations, Azimio leader Raila Odinga has reaffirmed to Kenyans that the celebrations at Jacaranda Gardens will kick off as planned.
Hiyo itakuwa ni sherehe ya kukumbuka wale walipigania uhuru yetu na kadhalika, na kupanda na kustarehe kama Wakenya. Sawa? Siku hiyo tutaleta hata mabandi kucheza huko.
The former Prime Minister called for patriotic Kenyans to come out and celebrate. Attending the event were various political leaders who cited that the Kenya Kwanza government has not delivered on the promises it gave to them during the campaign. For Hope TV Newswatch, I'm Pendo Karima.
President William Ruto has called on newly appointed High Court judges to remain non-partisan while dispensing their duties. Speaking at State House, Nairobi, when he presided over the swearing-in of the judges, the president echoed the judges' oath of office in which they swore to be impartial in the discharge of their service. He called on the judges to ensure that they uphold fairness and, while performing their duties, ensure that their actions are a reflection of what the judiciary stands for and the values of the country. Here is Grace Wangoi with the details.
To swear in the name of the Almighty God, to diligently serve the people and the Republic of Kenya.
Just days after President William Ruto denied using his powers and position to control the judiciary, adding that his interest was aimed at supporting the third arm of government to deliver justice effectively to the people, he has yet again interacted with the judiciary during the swearing-in of 20 High Court judges at State House in Nairobi. Addressing the judges, Ruto asked the judges to pay keen attention to the oath they have made to be impartial in the judgment and serve Kenyans diligently. He warned them against succumbing to intimidation or fear while dispensing their duties.
The third thing that you have told us this morning is that you will be impartial and that you will not be influenced by ethnicity or religion, and that fear and favor and bias and ill will and prejudice will not laze your judgments, that you will always do that which is impartial, and you will not submit or succumb to blackmail, intimidation, or threats from any corner.
President Ruto at the same time urged the newly appointed judges to ensure they uphold dignity of the judiciary and promote fairness, independence, competence, and integrity of the judicial arm of government, terming it a personal responsibility of each of the judges.
In the exercise of your judicial functions, you will administer, defend, and protect the Constitution of Kenya. Always. Remember to administer, but also protect and defend the Constitution of Kenya. In the exercise of your judicial functions, you will also mind about the institution of the judiciary, that it will be at the back of your mind that we have an institution called judiciary, a third arm of government, an institution that has a mandate and that you will ensure that the judiciary is dignified and is respected, and that you will promote fairness, the independence, your responsibility individually and collectively to ensure that our judiciary is fair, is independent, is competent, and above all, serves with integrity.
Chief Justice Martha Koome, in a notice on Thursday, December 1st, said the Judicial Service Commission had formulated the list following a thorough vetting exercise for the position as advertised early this year on March 13th. The head of state has severally reiterated his support for the judiciary and on Monday promised to end a 3-year impasse between the judiciary and the executive. Grace Angoi for Hope TV Newswatch.
Thank you, Grace. Now, Kenyans abroad under the Kenya Diaspora Alliance today held their 9th annual Kenya Diaspora Homecoming Convention themed Inclusive Growth, Leveraging Diaspora Resources. The convention sought to explore ways in which the government can bolster diaspora remittances and investment opportunities in the country. According to statistics from the Central Bank of Kenya, CBK, Kenyans abroad remitted approximately 400 billion shillings in 2020, funds that have contributed greatly to the growth of the country's economy. Speaking during the official opening of the third 3-day conference, the Cabinet Secretary of Foreign and Diaspora Affairs, Alfred Mutua, said that his ministry, in collaboration with the Department of Trade in the country, will give Kenyans living abroad the opportunity to invest and establish businesses under public-private partnerships so as to contribute to economic growth. Meanwhile, the government has formed a committee that will focus on all issues affecting Kenyan migrants working in hostile conditions that need intervention.
We want Kenyans to be in Kenya, but we also want Kenyans to experience life overseas. And we know that the role that Kenyans play when they go overseas. And we like it when Kenyans are overseas because they're able to remit money here and able to come back with various ideas to build this country. So we are not one of those countries that try to keep their people here. Enda ngambo, tengeneza pesa, jijenge, rudi nyumbani ujenge nyumba, tufanye biashara hapa, tujenge nchi yetu, si ndio? Unaenda ngambo na unarudi hapa nyumbani. Usiende kupotelea huko, that's all we are saying. Lakini ukienda urudi ukijua unakuja kunini kujenga Kenya, because we have an estimated 3 million Kenyans living in the diaspora, and according to the CBK, this in 2020 they remitted over 350 billion, close to 400 billion shillings, and I'm hoping that within a year we can triple that to about 1 trillion shillings, from 350 400 billion to about 1 trillion shillings as we look at what is happening.
The Diaspora Affairs and Migrant Workers Committee, which I chair, was established in the acknowledgement of the significant role Kenyans in the diaspora play in this country. This committee is responsible for considering all matters directly relating to policies and programs for the protection of the rights and welfare of Kenyans in the diaspora, for efficiently harnessing, mobilizing, steering of Kenya resources in the diaspora for economic and social cultural development. The committee thus presents a forum through which issues of concerns to persons living and working in the diaspora, be they legislative, policy, or welfare issues which requires the intervention of Parliament, can be addressed. The committee will therefore seek to engage all stakeholders in the execution of its mandates.
Interior Principal Secretary Dr. Raymond Omolo has today led the National Celebrations Committee's visit at Nyayo National Stadium to assess preparations for the forthcoming Jamhuri Day celebrations. This will be the first Jamhuri Day celebrations under the Kenya Kwanza administration of President William Ruto. Now, the celebrations will start from 8 a.m. with 20,000 guests expected at the event. The celebrations will take different themes, starting with this year's Jamhuri Day celebrations, which will be built around technology and digital economy under the slogan, to connect, innovate, and inspire.
Going forward, these celebrations will take a different connotation, starting with the one for the 12th, and it will be themed around technology and digital economy. And the slogan will be to connect, innovate, and inspire. And what we've done is we've launched a week-long celebrations that was launched yesterday at Tarit Center by President William Ruto. And we have also aggressively involved guys in the ICT sector, and we expect a number of guests, both locally and globally, who will be gracing the celebrations. Additionally, the celebrations will have a military component known as Trooping of the Colors, followed by very exciting events and entertainment by several teams from across the country. Now we are welcoming all Kenyans to come and attend and participate in the celebrations. We expect around 20,000 to be seated on that day. And the celebrations will begin earlier than usual. We expect everybody to be seated by 8 a.m. So we are calling upon Kenyans to come early so that then we can have a good and beautiful Jamhuri Day celebration.
We're about to take a short break, but before we do, melodious music have rent the air here at Sitam Valley Road as the Kenya Christian Lawyers Fellowship, in conjunction with the Law Society of Kenya Nairobi branch, have held a Christmas carol service at Sitam Valley Road to usher in the Christmas season for the lawyers. The event, which brought together Christian lawyers from across the country, was led by the LSK Nairobi branch chair Helen Namisi, who conveyed the institution's Christmas message to fellow lawyers as the country welcomes the Christmas mood.
After she'd been told about what was about to happen to her, that she's going to conceive by the Holy Spirit, and with all that meant to her as an individual in a society in which she lived. After doing that, she says this in the great song, the Magnificat, that we all know about. She says this, in complete sacrifice. She says, my soul glorifies the Lord, and my spirit rejoices in God my Savior, for he has been mindful of the humble state of his servant. From now on, all generations will call me blessed, for the Mighty One has done great things for me. Holy is his name. His mercy extends to those who fear him.
The learned friends are still celebrating even as we speak. Now let's take a short break here on Hope TV Newswatch. We will be right back with more news items. Don't go too far.
Ensuring good health and promoting well-being of all people is important in building a prosperous society. On Health Check, you get informed and empowered on various medical conditions, their treatment and preventive measures.
When you ignore gum disease, then the same tooth will start to appear slightly longer.
You also get your health question answered live by our doctors in studio.
The medication she's receiving is for the nostrils.
This child should be feeding enough to gain weight.
And you do a little bit of exercise. It even helps with the breast milk.
If you feel like you have an instinct that things aren't quite where they should be for your child, the onus is on you to seek an evaluation.
This is to help you make best choices about your health and your well-being. Stay tuned for brand new episodes of Health Check with me, Grace Mutiso, every Tuesday on Hope TV. Look and live.
Welcome back. Now, Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja has told the Parliamentary Health Committee that his government is restructuring the running of public health facilities. Now, he was giving the committee submissions on allegations of negligence at the Mamalusi Kibaki Hospital following the death of Maureen Anyango after giving birth to twins. Sakaja said his government will work hand in hand with the Senate to ensure conditional grants are given to Nairobi to ensure that all level 5 hospitals are fully functional and ease off pressure from the Mbagathi Hospital. Governor Sakaja has further pledged to ensure that the county health facilities are run and managed professionally, as recommended by the task force probing the county health matters. President William Ruto has launched the affordable housing program in Mavoko, Machakos constituency. Machakos County. Now, the launch unveiled more than 5,000 housing units and forms part of the government's plan to expand access to quality, spacious and clean houses at affordable rates. Tiffany Wamboi has more.
Affordable housing formed part of the 4 pillars of focus during former President Uhuru Kenyatta's government under the famous Big 4 agenda, together with universal health care, food security and nutrition, and manufacturing. In the ceremony attended by various legislators and leaders, President William Ruto unveiled more than 5,000 housing units in Machakos County's Mavoko constituency in a bid to ensure Kenyans have access to quality shelters at affordable rates. Speaking during the launch, the head of state stated that the project constitutes the government's plan to provide citizens with housing facilities by seeing through the construction of 2,000 to 2,500 housing units each year.
Ni mradi ambayo tunaunganisha serikali ya Kenya, watu wa UN Habitat, private sector, na tumepata usaidizi mkubwa pia kutoka county government ya hapa Machakos. Hii kolabo yetu sisi wote ni ili tuweze kupata mahali pazuri. Wananchi wetu watapata makao, watapata manyumba, na vile mumesikia developer akisema, hii mradi ama hii housing project ni mojawapo ya projects ambazo iko katika mipango ya serikali ya Kenya. Nia yetu ni kujenga kila mwaka nyumba kati ya 1,200 na 1,250 every year.
He pledged to work with the county government in realizing and spearheading the vision of affordable housing to Kenyans in low-income areas.
Wale watu ambao watataka kununua manyumba hapa, sisi kama serikali ya Kenya tutawapatia pesa ya kununua hiyo manyumba kwa mortgage.
At the same time, Machakos County Governor Wavinya Ndeti, while lauding legislators for their attendance of the launch, acknowledged the pivotal role played by the project in strengthening relations between the national and county governments. She further committed to working with the national government in streamlining the affordable housing agenda.
Tutafanya kazi na serikali yako. All we have to say is thank you. Na hizi nyumba zikijengwa, Your Excellency, waangalie bei ya nyumba. Sio watu wengi wanaweza kuafford. Hata tukipata nyumba za 500, 1 million, mtu analipa 3,000 ama 2,000 per month na nyumba inakuwa yake.
According to a Christian NGO, Habitat for Humanity, Kenya has an annual housing demand of 250,000 units, with an estimated supply of 50,000 units, culminating in a housing deficit of 2 million units, equivalent to an 80% deficit. Roughly 6.4 million people, or of Kenya's urban population, live in informal settlements.
Housing akaingia akasikiza hiyo story.
For Hope TV Newswatch, I'm Tiffany Wamboi.
Thank you, Tiffany. Now, it is a sigh of relief for residents of Makima, Karaba and Riakana Omwea sub-county in Embu after the government processed title deeds for the adjudicated area which were demarcated in 1979. Locals living in the land have urged the government to ensure the title deeds issuance by the government is done in an open manner so that the deserving beneficiaries get their title deeds. Tess Njenga now reports.
Residents of Makima, Karaba and Riakanao Moya sub-county in Embu were elated after the government processed their title deeds. Makima Ward MCA Philip Nzangi, who broke the news to the residents of the contested parcels of land in Bere South constituency during a burial ceremony in Makima, said that the government has already processed 15,000 title deeds.
Ninajua watu wanayo maswali mengi kuhusu title deeds ambazo zimetangazwa. Although hazijatangazwa hadharani na serikali, lakini wamesema ni ukweli. Nataka kudhibitisha kwamba ni ukweli. Title deeds za Makima Adjudication Area zimetoka na ziko tayari kwa wale ambao wako na mashamba pale. Karaba Adjudication Area na Riakanau Adjudication Area.
Zangi, however, disclosed that some title deeds still had some challenges, but noted that they will be corrected accordingly.
Ninafahamu ya kwamba kuna mashamba mengine yanayo matatizo, yale ambayo tunaita matangi kwa lugha ya hapa kwetu. Nataka kuhakikishia wale hapo mko kwa matangi, msitie shauku, msiwe na uoga, kwa sababu mimi mwenyewe na mheshimiwa governor na serikali tunaendelea kuzungumza jinsi mtakavyosaidika. Hufai kubabaishwa na yeyote mahali unapoishi.
The Makima MCA stated that he will be working closely with Embu Governor Cecily Mbarire, as she has shown good political will to see that the disagreements surrounding demarcation and issuance of title deeds to the locals living in Moya settlement scheme are resolved.
Shida yetu sio scheme peke yake. Kuna watu wako kwa TRDA wanasemekana wako kwa shamba wenyewe. Kuna watu wako uongoni wanaishi kwa mashamba ambayo kuna watu walipewa title deeds. Kuna watu ambao kuna shida iko hapa ililetwa ya KWS. Ati kuna gazetted area ambayo watu wanaishi na iko kwa Makima Adjudication Area. Kuna watu ambao tunaishi huku kwa scheme. Hayo mambo yote lazima, kwa sababu governor ni kiongozi ambaye anataka kutatua shida yetu. Ninajua anao mpango wa kutafuta kamati ambayo itaketi chini, ichunguze ukweli, impe mawaidha ni njia ipi tunayopaswa kufuata ili tumalize hii shida mara moja.
Thomas Nthiwa, a resident of Makima, lauded the government for processing the title deeds and urged the government to ensure that it also processes the title deeds for the locals living in the disputed Moya land settlement scheme and those living in Moya settlement scheme.
Tumekaa bila makao, tumekaa bila vyeti vya mashamba yetu, na kwa sasa tunashukuru serikali kwamba title deed zimetoka. Tunaomba serikali kwa wale ambao wako na matitles wakishapata. Tunajua wakati ya adjudication watu wengi walibaki bila mashamba. Ndio tunaomba baada ya title deeds kutoka za adjudication ya 78, wale watabaki kwa hii kisehemu ya Moya Raging Scheme. Tunaomba wazaliwa wa Makima waweze kuangaliwa ili kila mmoja apate nafasi ya kuwa na makao.
Agnes Kanini, a resident of Mwanjo, said that despite having lived in Mwanjo for more than 20 years, they had been living in fear, knowing that they could be evicted from the land any time. Kanini urged the area MCA to work closely with Governor Cecily Mbarire to see that Moya sub-county interests are well taken care of.
Sasa tuko na uhuru. Tutakaa sasa, tumenjua mashamba, tunaendelea kulima tukiwaangojea, na tunawaomba waendelee watuangalie wale ambao wamenjenga kwa hii scheme. Njoo tulikunja huku mapema, kama mimi sasa niko na 20 years nikiwa hapa, sina mahali pa kwenda. Watoto wangu nimewalelea hapa, wako na wake, wengine wameoleka, na ukiniambia nitoke kwa scheme, sijui naweza kutoka niende wapi.
Locals living in the land have urged the government to ensure the title deeds issuance by the government is done in an open manner so that the deserving beneficiaries get their title deeds. Reporting for Hope TV Newswatch, I'm Tess Njenga.
And Ruto Base Commander Samira Duman Yunus has been charged before the Milimani Chief Magistrate's Court for an offence of abuse of power. The officer denied the criminal charge and was ordered to place a cash bail of 20,000 shillings with an alternative bond of 500,000 shillings with a surety. According to the prosecution, the accused is said to have committed the offence on the 15th of June 2019 within Dandora Police Station, where he was the officer commanding Police Station or CS. Now, according to the charge sheet, he is said to have used his position and had sexual intercourse with an unidentified victim. And the case will be mentioned for pre-trial on the 31st of December this year. To the international scene now, where 25 people have been arrested in raids across Germany on suspicion of plotting to overthrow the government. The group of far-right and ex-military figures are said to have prepared for a day X to storm the Reichstag parliament buildings and seize power. A man named as Hendrik XIII from an old aristocratic family is alleged to have been central to their plans. According to the federal prosecutors, he is one of two alleged ringleaders among those arrested across 11 German states. The plotters are said to include members of the extremist citizens of the Reich movement, which has long been in the sights of German police over violent attacks and racist and anti-Semitic conspiracy theories. They also refuse to recognize the modern German state. Interior Minister Nancy Faeser assured Germans that authorities would respond with the full force of the law against the enemies of democracy.
Thousands of people throng cities every single day looking for opportunities to make their lives better. They are employees, business owners, or just opportunity seekers desiring to have a breakthrough in their lives. Join me, DM Tanki, as we take this journey from the perspective of different successful entrepreneurs and corporate employees on Occupy Today every Sunday from 8 p.m. exclusively on Hope TV. Look and live.
I look at business now. The government has embarked on a transformative plan to redevelop the Nairobi Central Railway Station to a modern facility. This, according to President William Ruto, will help tackle transport challenges in the city, which will in turn grow the economy. Speaking during the groundbreaking ceremony of the Nairobi Railway City in Nairobi County, Ruto said the project will employ at least 5,000 people when the construction begins and an additional 5,000 at the end of the project.
It will be a green development and a clean, green transport hub at that. And it will regenerate central Nairobi and keep Kenya's climate ambitions on track. Built with the latest innovation in green building technology and green planning technology, giving the people of Nairobi a more efficient and accessible railway system. And this is the template for the kind of development partnership that the UK wants to offer in the future. A project realised through close cooperation, conceived and constructed with expertise from both our countries.
In pursuit of the urban regeneration, phase 1 of the development, which will deliver a new central station with a revised railway track and a train station layout containing a bus rapid transport system. This phase will also include the construction of a covered pedestrian bridge on the workshop road, viaduct bridges, and commercial premises with ample parking space. I am very proud, Minister Cleverly, for you coming so that we can do this together to show the convergence of British and Kenyan interests. The first phase will also comprise 10,000 housing units on 40 acres of Railway City. This development will significantly contribute to our plan to deliver 250,000 affordable urban housing units annually. And later this week, on Saturday, I will be launching another additional 5,000 houses in Eastlands in our city, in our journey to ensuring that the residents of Nairobi have homes to live in, and we create many more homeowners than is currently the case.
But a busy day for President William Ruto today. To other stories now, Britam has partnered with digital insurance platform MTech to offer a mobile-enabled business protection cover dubbed Britam Biashara. The new cover targets micro, small and medium enterprises, MSMEs, protecting them against fire and burglary. Additionally, the cover protects the MSMEs against loss of income in the event of fire or hospitalization, and also protects the owner against the risk of death or disability caused by an accident. Eva Kimani, Britam's Digital and Partnership Director, said partnership targets to distribute the solution to over 100,000 MSMEs spread across the country from the comfort of their phones through MTech's mobile application. MTech's Chief Executive Officer Bente Krogman said the collaboration among insurance sector players in the development of customized products is key to increasing penetration among the uninsured. And Alice Kande has been appointed as the Acting Director General of the Kenya National Qualifications Authority, KNQA, following the exit of Dr. Juma Mukhwana. Dr. Mukhwana is now the Principal Secretary in the State Department for Industry. Before the appointment, Dr. Kande served as the Deputy Director in charge of Planning, Research, Outreach and Policy at KNQA. The announcement was made by the KNQA Council Chairperson, Rosemary Njogu, before chairing a special council meeting, pledging confidence in the leadership of Njogu to steer the organization well as it embarks on the recruitment of a substantive Director General. Prior to joining KNQA, Dr. Kande was a Senior Research Officer at the Commission for University Education, CUE. Dr. Kande promised to work together with all stakeholders in order to realize KNQA's mandate. To sports now, KCB has intensified preparations for its FKF Premier League clash against Bungoma's Nzoia Sugar on Saturday, December the 10th at the Kasarani Stadium in Nairobi. The team moved up the log standings to 4th with 6 points after winning 2 out of the 3 matches it has played in the current 2022-2023 season. Commenting on the upcoming league match, KCB FC assistant coach Godfrey Oduor said forward Francis Kahiro and midfielder Derek Otieno may not play in the Nzoia Sugar fixture after they both picked up minor knocks in the 1-0 win over Bandari last weekend. The Zedekiah Otieno men will lock horns with Bidco United on the 17th of December away in Thika.
Nzoia is it's going to be a tough match, considering that they won their previous match, so they'll be coming to see how best they can also try to get points out of it. So we're anticipating a tough match against Nzoia. Important to be winning matches and going up the ladder. So our ambition is still intact. We want to see how best we can do this season and even clinch the title. So it's impressive to see that we are going up. We have a few knocks here and there which we came with from our previous match in Mombasa. This is Derek and also Kahiro, but they are on rehabilitation, so we are trying to see how we can get them ready for this match. We might not have a big change in our lineup, but of course we anticipate to have changes because football is about competition. So how the players will compete in training will determine who will get this position to start.
And that's how we wrap up Newswatch tonight. Thank you for your company. We do this again tomorrow with Teresia Njenga here on Hope TV Newswatch. Until then, I have been a news anchor, Melissa Oduor. My sign language interpreter has been Boniface Morevi. Have a great night.
The Situm Joint Women Ministry production, in conjunction with Situm Drama Group, presents the nativity story titled A Wondrous Baby.